what I find is most sales guys, they're more focused on these questions than they are on these questions. If you're on this side, you're gonna get flats, you're not gonna make a lot of commission, you're gonna lose sales, and you're gonna have upset clients, and they're gonna go buy at another dealership, probably at the same price, but from a different salesperson because they did their job correctly. If you're one of those people that have been spending 30, 40 minutes with a client only to find out at the end that he doesn't have time, all the decision makers aren't here, or that he's not gonna buy today, you need to watch this video because behind me, I have the recipe to your success. I have the recipe about how you're going to qualify a client correctly. So you can make sure that number one, you give them the best customer service, but number two is that you also set the expectations for yourself. That you're not under this self-premise that this customer is going to buy today, okay? There's some things that you need to do before you go on the test drive, before you go on the demo. There's some things that you need to find out before we go ahead and do these things. And most of the time what I see, especially new sales guys, is that they screw up this process. They don't qualify their client correctly and they don't ask the right questions. So behind me, I have all of the points that you're gonna need to make sure that you're set up for success every single time. So what are the points here? I want to talk about the investigation part. So the investigation part is you've done the meet and greet with your client, you just met them, you did an awesome introduction, you did an awesome first impression, and now you're gonna find out, you're gonna do a needs analysis on the client. So basically you're gonna start asking them some questions, identifying the right vehicle, so that you can go on a test drive on a car that you know that they're gonna fall in love with. But during the investigation part, there's some things that you need to know about the client, and there's some things that you do not need to know about the client. Most of the time, what I see sales guys doing is they're asking the wrong questions. They're asking questions that they have no business asking. They're asking questions that they don't need to know the answers to. See, if you ask the right questions, you will get the right answers. Now, what are the things that you need to know as a salesperson when you are doing the investigation part, when you are qualifying your client? So you're sitting down at your desk and you're building rapport at the same time, but now you're finding out what the client's needs are, what car they're gonna test drive, but things that you need to know. A question that is very powerful and you must ask, okay? Ask how much time they have set aside today. Because you wanna know if your client only has 10 minutes today, or if they have an hour today, or if they set aside 2 hours today. When you ask this question, you can show your customer the best type of customer service and you're not under these false impressions. Customer only says they have 20 minutes today. Now you know how you're gonna approach this sale, right? Most of the time, if customers only have 20 minutes today, I'll build a ton of rapport with them and I'll try to book them back in. Because 20 minutes is not enough for you to sell them a car. So what you wanna do is you wanna get the next appointment, okay? But ask the time, guys. There's so many times sales guys do the investigation part. They don't know how much time they have. After the test drive, the customer says, hey, you know what, I gotta leave, I'm running out of time, I gotta go pick up the kids. Why didn't you ask that question at the very beginning? Very important for you to ask. Don't forget to ask about time. Number two, decision makers. Are all the decision makers here today? You need to find that question out. You need to find out the answer to that question, because if all the decision makers aren't here today, guess what happens most of the time? Most of the time, the customer will say, I need to talk to my wife. I need to talk to my spouse. Well, you should have found out if all the decision makers were here today, because now you can, again, mentally prepare yourself for how you're going to approach the close. How are you going to overcome the wife? You can see the objections happening before they even happen. And that's what a great salesperson does. See, they see the objections that are going to happen at the very beginning, and they start overcoming those objections, not at the end, but they start overcoming the objections throughout the sale, right? So find out if all the decision makers aren't there. If they're not there, now you start asking them the right questions, right? You start building rapport. You start asking them about the relationship. You start asking, hey, Mr. Klein, by the way, how long have you guys been thinking about purchasing a car for? Have you guys ever spoken about which type of trim might work for you guys? What are the most important features to you and your wife, right? So you and your wife have been talking about this for 6 months. Wow, it seems like you guys have been planning on buying a car for a while. So you've probably gone over budget, price, down payment, all these things, correct? So anyways, these are just little tips that I'm giving you guys. But you see, I don't go and close the guy and try to overcome the wife objection at the end. I slowly hammer away at it throughout the sale, okay? But you only find that out if you ask the right questions. Is there a trade? Guys, this happens so many times. You do the whole sale, customer agrees on the price, and then what do they say? They say the dreaded words, oh, by the way, I have a trade-in. So So you've gone to your manager, you guys have negotiated on the price, you've gone back and forth, and finally you got the deal. You go to your boss, boss, I got a deal. All we got to do is $250 bi-weekly. I'm going to get the guy to sign right now. You go back, you say, hey, Mr. Customer, congratulations, got you what you wanted. I need your signature right here. And he's like, oh, by the way, I have a trade. Now your heart just sinks. You got to go back and tell your manager, you know what? They have a trade. And you know what he's going to say? Why didn't you ask that question at the beginning? Why didn't you find this out? You didn't find it out because you didn't do a proper needs analysis. You didn't do a proper investigation. You didn't ask the right questions. So guys, find out the trade part at the beginning. If you do this, your life will be so much easier. 4, you do the investigation part. You got to find out the features, guys. Find out what are the most important features to your client. Is it leather? Is it sunroof? Is it safety? Is it performance? Is it gas mileage? Make sure you find out what are the most important features for them. Why are you finding out what are the most important features for them? Because number 1, you're going to find out what type of car to sell them, what trim to sell them. But the other thing is when you're doing your demo, now you know which features to key in on. And remember what we talked about. We don't sell on price, we sell on value. Amateur salespeople, the people that don't make a lot of money, the people that always get flats, that don't make a lot of commission, they're always, well, price. Because they don't build any value during the demonstration. But for us guys, what we've learned is that if we build enough value of our product, the customer will never ask you for a discount. They'll feel embarrassed to ask you for a discount. Because if you built enough value, if they ask you for a discount, that means your car's not worth at the price that you have it listed for. It's not worth what they're going to be buying it for. When you go to Louis Vuitton or Gucci, you don't go to the till and go ask for a discount. That'd be ludicrous, right? Because you see the value. So if you build a value and you key in on those most important features to your client and you talk about those over and over again throughout the sale, man, it'll be easy for you to get clients to sign because you built so much value. Next thing, okay, last but not least, find out if it's going to be a new or used car. Okay, very important. Are you going to sell them a pre-owned car or a used car? I'm not really going to get into it that, but through your investigation, you will find out. At our dealership, we have something that's called a guest sheet. It's kind of like a questionnaire. It's kind of like a rapport building tool. And with that, it really helps us answer all of these questions, okay? Hopefully the dealership that you work at has given you some type of guest sheet or investigation or a needs analysis type of paper. If you don't have one, comment in the comment section below and I'll make sure I send you one myself. But there's some questions, guys, that you do not need to know. And what I find is most sales guys, they're more focused on these questions than they are on these questions. If you're on this side, you're going to get flats, you're not going to make a lot of commission, you're going to lose sales, and you're going to have upset clients, and they're going to go buy at another dealership, probably at the same price, but from a different salesperson because they did their job correctly. And I keep preaching to you guys over and over again, we want to sell on value, we don't want to sell on price, okay? So questions that you do not need to know. You do not need to know budget. Do not ask the client their budget. Budget does not, most of the time, guys, 99% of the times, budget does not matter. I'm going to tell you at the end why, okay? But budget, don't ask that question. Number 2, payment. It doesn't matter what their monthly payment is, okay? How many times have you had customers who had a monthly payment and then when it came to the deal, they ended up paying more money? How many times has that happened? How many times have clients paid more into their monthly budget than they said they were going to do? All the time. How many times have clients given you a budget and they've paid more money than they said they were going to, or than they said that they could afford? All the time. Don't ask about how much a trade is worth. Why would you ask a client what they want for their trade or what they're expecting for their trade? Your managers might ask you this question, but I'm telling you right now, don't answer this question. It's the wrong way to go about doing the business. Let's imagine you're at the beginning part. You just met the customer. You're trying to build rapport with them. You're trying to make a friend and a great impression. You're trying to build a relationship. But now all of a sudden, right when you're starting to get to know the person, now you ask them how much they want for the trade. They said they want $5,000. And now you go to your manager and he's like, whoa, that's way out of line. There's no way he's going to get $5,000. Absolutely not. That car's worth like $2,000. Now you go back and now you start arguing with the customer before you've even got him excited, before he even knows you, before you've even demonstrated the product, and before you even made him fall in love with the vehicle. Now you're trying to overcome the trade objection. Let me ask you a question. Do you think it's easier to overcome these objections, do you think it's easier to overcome the trade objection after you've built a relationship with the client, after you've built a value in the car, after you've making him fall in love with your product, and then it's easier to overcome these objections? Or you just do it all at the beginning before he even know you, likes you, or respects you? I think we answered our own question. The key is a customer will not buy from you if they don't like you, trust you, and respect you. And if you start going over these things at the very beginning, you're never going to build a relationship with the client and you're never going to get that sale. See, master salespeople, they focus on relationships, they focus on value, and they don't focus on price. And the fourth question that you do not need to be asking the question during this part of the process is that you do not need to be asking the client what their down payment is going to be. Okay, so at the end, guys, during this part, there's some things that you need to know and there's some things that you do not need to know. If you got value from this video, make sure you like and subscribe to this channel. Again, this was the needs analysis. This was the investigation part. If you guys do this correctly, I guarantee you, you'll end up selling more vehicles, have way more fun doing it, and you'll make way bigger paychecks. One thing that's gonna help you sell more cars than you've ever sold in your car salesman career, and it's gonna help you crack that $100,000 income, it's Facebook Marketplace. And I'm shocked how many sales guys out there are not taking advantage of Facebook Marketplace. If you look around nowadays, everybody is shopping online. Everybody's shopping on Amazon, on Auto Trader, but most of all, majority of customers, they look for everything on Facebook Marketplace, especially second-hand vehicles. If you want to be the best, if you want to sell the most used cars at your dealership and in your life that you've ever sold before, you got to get on Marketplace. It's not even a question. If you're not on Marketplace right now, you're leaving so much money on the table, you're taking food out of your family's mouth, and you're taking money out of your pocket every single day. If you utilize Facebook the right way, I can promise you right now, you will get the results, you'll deliver more vehicles, and you'll have a great lifestyle if you take advantage of Facebook Marketplace. But you have to do it the right way. Most salespeople, what they do is they post 1 or 2 cars online and they don't get any results and they say it doesn't work. Or the second excuse that I hear all the time is that, oh man, people are bothering me all the time. The leads aren't that high quality. You know, these customers are just ghosting me. Guys, you need to understand, the more leads that you get, the more opportunities that you will get. Are Facebook leads the highest quality leads? No, they're not. But are they more leads? Yes, they are. And at the end of the day, I can tell you right now, most of you guys, you're not doing the amount of work that you need to be doing each day anyways. In my previous videos, I talked about not having white space in your calendar being completely filled up. Look, if you have no white space in your calendar at all, no problem. You're already that guy who's probably selling 30 or 40 vehicles. But if you have any amount of white space in your calendar right now, you need to get all over Facebook Marketplace, but you need to do it the right way, okay? And that's gonna lead me into my first point, guys. To take advantage of Facebook Marketplace, what is the right way of doing it? The number one thing that you need to do, and this should be your goal, okay, to get the right results, give it at least 30 days, is get every single used car that you have at your dealership, post every single car that you have on Marketplace. I'm talking about every single one. If you want to do it really, really quick, there's a couple tricks that you can do, okay? The first thing is, if you want to save a little bit of time, you can copy and paste the photos that you have off your dealership's website. Now, typically those photos, people will see it on your website, they'll see it on your ad, they look pretty similar, they might just go to the dealership website and they might send a lead in, they might go to somebody else. But what I want you to do is I just want you to get in the hang of things. I want those leads coming through, I want you working those clients, and the more cars that you have online, the more opportunities it's gonna give you to sell a car. So first thing first, get every single car online. Second thing that you are going to do for Facebook Marketplace, okay? You are gonna watch the trades, okay? Whenever a fresh trade comes in, guys, whenever a trade-in comes in, I want you to run out there and I want you to take photos of that vehicle right away, okay? Typically, why? Typically, the best cars, the ones that get priced the best, the ones that have the lowest kilometers, the ones that have a high turn ratio, they usually sell right away. But what you're gonna do, you're gonna sell these cars before your dealership even has a chance to market it, before those other lazy salespeople out there who are just sitting at their desk before they even have a chance to sell the car. They don't deserve to sell the car, you do. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna watch out for fresh trades, okay? When you see a trade-in come in, take a photo of it right away, go to your manager, ask him for the price, okay? Ask him how much you can sell that car for and post that thing online. What I used to do is every single morning I would do a lot walk. And when I did my lot walk, there was a trade-in row. And I'd always go into the trade. Those cars were like gold, money. All I saw was dollar bills. When I went to those trades, I would take photos of all those fresh trades, ask my manager how much to sell this car for, boom, post it online. That car was gone before salespeople even knew that the car was there. That's what I want you to do every single day when you walk into the dealership. Now the third thing, okay? When you are making your Facebook post ads, some ads I see guys are posting huge lengthy novels on Facebook post ads, okay? Now you gotta understand, when people are scrolling online, what's happening? Guys, people's attention spans have gone down. They used to have attention spans of a goldfish, which was 11 seconds. People don't even have that now. It's gone down to more like 6 seconds now. So you have to grab people's attention right away. When you're posting cars on Marketplace, make sure you cut to the chase, okay? Have a clearly defined price. Second thing, have the most important features on there, highlighted on there, and that's it, okay? Leather, sunroof, hybrid, the all-wheel drive. These types of things are very important. And the other thing that is very important, which you want to make sure you highlight in your ads if this is true, is no accidents and local car. Or if you work for a name brand dealership, certified unit. These are the key words that everything else that you're posting on there doesn't matter. Outside of your name and your phone number, nothing else matters on that ad. This is how you want to be posting your ads, because when people see it, they're just looking for the main information. Just like you, when you go online, you keep scrolling. If something doesn't catch your attention, you just keep going. Or if it's too much, you just keep going. So guys, in this case, less is more. If you use these 3 Facebook strategies, I'm telling you right now, you will sell more cars, you will make more money, you'll be so much more happier, and people will be wondering, looking at you, what it is that you're doing. But all that you've done is you've outgrown, you've outlearned, and you've outworked your competition. Today could be the day where you change your whole automotive career. See, in 90 days, you can make more money than you have ever imagined in your automotive career. How can you do it? I'm going to walk you through that step by step. And why should you listen to me? Because I'm somebody who did it. I started off as a sales guy. No confidence, not knowing how to talk, not knowing anything about the automotive industry. But I completely transformed my life, my numbers, and my paycheck by the 3 points that I'm going to go over with you today. See, number one, what is number one? When I first got into the dealership, look, I only knew one thing that I had. And one thing that I knew that I could control. And what was that? That was my work ethic. See, I knew I might not be the smartest, I might not be the most confident, and I might not be the best at closing. But one thing that I did know that I could control was my work ethic. And one thing I promised myself when I first walked into the dealership, I said, I might not know this industry now. I might not know how to close properly. I might not know that much about the product. And I might not have that much confidence. But the one thing that I promise you that I will do is I'm going to outwork everybody in this dealership. And that is exactly what I did. I went to town and I outworked everybody who worked at the dealership. I was the first one there and the last one to leave. And the best compliment that I always got when I went in is everybody knew the schedule. It's funny how your colleagues will start looking at the schedule and they'll start noticing when your day off is. And every time I showed up on my day off, I would always hear it. Hey man, what are you doing on your day off today? Hey, I'm surprised to see you today. Do you ever take any days off? See man, every time anybody ever said that to me, it just pumped me up even more. Because slowly but surely, every time they would ask me that, my confidence started growing. And I knew that I was beating them now. That I was outworking them. And that's the one thing that I knew that I could control. Now, as I started outworking everybody, guess what started happening? Number one, my boss started noticing that I was always there. And he started respecting me more and wanting to know who I was. The second thing that ended up happening was that I ended up getting more opportunities. I ended up getting more leads, I ended up talking to more people, and I ended up doing more follow-up. See, work ethic alone is something that you can control. And like I said, you might not know this business that well. You might not know how to overcome objections. You might not know how to close. You might not even know the product. But the one thing that you can do at the very beginning, and 90 days is all it's going to take for you to change your life, is work harder. Be there. Work. Learn. And that's how you're going to be able to grow your career. So as I started working harder, the second thing that I really focused on is that, hey, I knew I was going to work hard and I knew I was outworking all of my competition. The second thing that I could do to completely change my numbers was outlearn. The second thing that I started to do was I said, I'm going to outlearn everybody. And guess what? It wasn't that hard because nowadays, nobody wants to learn. Nobody is reading books. Nobody's learning about their industry. Everybody out there is amateurs. There are not that many professionals. See, there's a reason why they say it's lonely at the top, because it really is. And it's so freaking crowded at the bottom. If you want to separate yourself from everybody else in the automotive industry, then start out learning them. And what are the things that I started learning? Number one was I started learning the words of the business. I started learning how to overcome the basic objections. When customers say I need to think about it, when customers say the price is too high, when the customers say I want more for my trade, when the customers say I want the best deal, I started learning how to overcome these objections. Because imagine going in the ring with a boxer and you know he's going to be hitting you with a right hook, but you just stand there and keep taking those punches. That's like you showing up to work every single day. You know what the customer is going to say. You know what the objection is going to be, but you just let them keep walking all over you. So I decided that I was going to outlearn everybody out there. I started reading books on sales. I started learning the basic objections. And I started learning about the industry as well. What's going on in the current industry today? See, that's the difference between an amateur and a professional. So I outworked everybody. I outlearned everybody. Now, the third thing that I did was that I made sure that every single day I did my daily non-negotiables. Okay? Daily non-negotiables, DNN, that's what I called them. And what were mine? Every single day I made sure, I'm going to tell you the secret right now when you go to work, is that every day I made sure I called all the service customers that were going to be coming in the next day. And guess what? Nobody at my dealership was doing this. There's something called the blue ocean strategy. Okay? And the blue ocean strategy basically takes a shark, and basically you can be a shark that's swimming in an ocean full of sharks, or you can be a shark in a blue ocean where you're the only shark that's in there hunting. There's so much food to go around because you're the only shark in that blue ocean. So guess what happened? Everybody in my dealership, nobody was calling the service clients. See, everybody else was out there fighting for ups. Everybody else was out there fighting for leads. But me, I saw so many sharks out there. I'm like, why would I want to go there? Why don't I go over here and be the only shark in this blue ocean? And that's what I did. I completely took it over. The service customers is where I made most of my money off of us because they already like us, they already trust us, and they already respect us. And we know these are the three main things which is going to be the deciding factor for a client. They got to like you, they got to trust you, and they got to respect you. And these customers, they were already spending money at our dealership to pay for their cars. They already had a relationship. And it was so easy for me to get them to trade in or upgrade their vehicle. They just needed somebody to call them. And the second thing that I did was Facebook. That was my next blue ocean. That's where I completely took it over. Nobody was on Facebook. I was the only guy that did it because everybody else was relying on the dealership to provide them with leads. They were just relying on walk-ins, but not me. I decided to go over to another blue ocean, and now I had two of them. And Facebook, whenever a vehicle would come in on trade, it was fresh, I would be the first guy to take photos of it. I would take photos of that car before the photographer that worked for the dealership even had a chance to. And then I would run to my managers, get a price on that vehicle, post it online, and that car would be sold before any of the sales guys even knew that we had it, or even before the dealership even had a chance to market it. Because most of the fresh trades, most of the good trades will usually sell right away. So I had the chance to sell them before. Guys, these 3 tips that I just gave you, if you do them and you focus on them, the next 90 days could be the craziest days of your life. You could make more money than you have ever imagined, completely change the trajectory of your career and your lifestyle. So in this video, I'm going to go over the 2 biggest mistakes that most car salespeople are making. And these 2 mistakes could be costing you millions over your car salesman career. Now, as you grow your career as a car salesman, sometimes you start doing bad habits. Sometimes you start prejudging customers. Sometimes you start pre-qualifying customers, which you shouldn't be. But at the end of the day, we're all humans. And it's in our nature to always go the path of least resistance. But little do we know that in car sales specifically, the path of least resistance is costing you sales, is costing you referrals, and is costing you thousands of dollars. If you stop doing these 2 mistakes, your sales will increase. I promise you, you'll have happy customers. You'll have so many more referrals, and you will be the top guy at your dealership, because most of the people in this industry right now are doing these 2 things. Most of the people in this industry right now have no idea how to sell the right way. But you, after this video, are not going to make these mistakes, and you are going to be a freaking superstar. So let's get into it. What are the 2 mistakes that every car salesman out there is making right now? The first one is the demo. Is not taking your client on a demo. Look guys, this is a statistic. This is a numbers game. And no matter which way you put it, we both know, if you've watched my videos, that 99% of customers will not buy a car if you don't do a demonstration, if you don't take them on a test drive, if you don't do a good presentation. 99% of your customers out there, they will not buy. What do most salespeople do? Some salespeople nowadays, they don't even take their customers on a test drive. They don't even do that. But guys, when do customers buy? When do you make a good commission? We know customers, they'll buy from you when they trust you, when they like you, and when they respect you. But the other thing is, you got to get them excited about the car. People are emotional beings. People buy on emotions. You got to get them into, I call it the buying state. How do you get people excited about a car? When they touch it, feel it, when they drive it, when you do a walk around. A lot of salespeople these days, they don't even take their customers on a test drive because they believe what the customer is saying. Oh, I don't need to drive it. I've driven so many of those. I'm telling you right now, customers don't want to drive a car because they know if they drive it, most likely they're probably going to end up buying it. And again, why is that? Because they're emotionally attached to that car. So it's your job to make sure that you take every single customer on a test drive, that every single customer gets a great walk around, that you do a great presentation, you show them all the features of the car. And don't be like those old folks out there who've been in this business for 10 years and are so lazy they don't even take their customers on a test drive. Next thing, talking about price before building value. Let me ask you a question, okay? We know customers, they will buy a car from us, they will send us referrals if they like us, if they trust us, and if they respect us. So when a customer walks in, why would you start talking about price at the very beginning when they don't even know you, they don't even like you, they don't even respect you, and they don't even trust you? See, at the beginning, what we should be focusing on is getting to know the client, is building rapport with that client. At the beginning, what we should be doing is doing a good needs analysis, finding a car that the customer actually wants, not based on their budget, but what they actually want. And then what you should be doing is taking the car on a demonstration. You do a good presentation. Now at the end, when you get to the close, this is when you start to try to overcome these objections. This is when you try to overcome budget, trade, all this stuff. Okay, if you're listening to this video right now, these are the things that I don't want you to do. I don't want you to ask a customer what they want for their trade at the beginning. Do not ask that. We are going to ask that at the very end when the manager pitches us trade-in numbers, And now we're going to overcome that trade objection. You're not going to ask your customers what their budget is. What is your monthly budget, Mr. Customer? No, you're not going to crush their dreams before they even get to know you, or they like you, or they respect you. You're not going to ask the customer how much money down they have. You're not going to even ask them their budget. Put it this way. You meet a customer, okay? You get them excited about the vehicle. They like you, they trust you, and they respect you. But they hit you with an objection. They want more money for their trade. Do you think this objection is easier to overcome after you got them excited about the trade, about the vehicle that they're buying, after you made a friend with them, after they like you, they respect you, and they trust you? Or do you think these objections are easier to overcome before they even know who the hell you are? Before they like you, before they trust you, before they respect you, before you even got them excited about the car? Do you think it's easier to overcome those objections about their trade-in, about their monthly budget, about their payment? Of course not. Okay? Because always remember these 4 questions. And I know the answers. Have you ever had a customer take less for their trade than they said they would? Of course you have. Have you ever had a customer come up on their monthly budget than they said they would? Of course you have. Have you ever had a customer pay more money than they said they were going to pay? Of course you have. Have you ever had a customer come up with more money down than they said they had? Of course you did. So at the end of the day, guys, these questions are the wrong questions to be asking. The whole beginning part of the sale is for you to build rapport, build a friend, build trust, and build value in your product. If you do a good job there, the trade, the budget, the money down, that stuff doesn't even matter. Customers are always willing to pay more money for things that they love, and they're willing to pay more money to people that they trust. Hey guys, if you got value from this video, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. And I'm on a mission to make as many $100,000 income earners in this car industry as I can. If you guys want more advice and want to work with me on a more personal level, make sure you text me at 778-928-0430. Ask me any question that you like. I got your back for life. Guys, so in this video, I'm going to go over the 4 most common objections that you are going to come across in sales. Now, before I go over these objections, the first thing is that most of the time, you got to understand why you got the objection. Why is the customer now at the end coming up with an objection? Most of the time, you need to go to the beginning of the sale. See, objections are overcome throughout the sale, not at the end. If you try to do it at the end, you better be really good. You better know exactly what to say, and you better get the customer saying yes, and you better be asking them the right questions. But you know what? If you do a good job, you'll find out the customer's objections at the very beginning, and slowly start overcoming those objections throughout the sale. Most of the time, why a customer gives you an objection at the end of the sale is because you haven't built enough value. Let me ask you a question. If you had a certain amount of money that you had to spend, and you're buying a product and you see killer value in it, it's such a good deal, it has such good reliability, such good reviews, that you think it's a freaking steal, would you say I need to think about it? Would you say I need to go talk to my wife? Would you say any of these objections that I have written here, would you say the price is too high? No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't have any of these objections. Okay? So first of all, how do you stop the customer from giving you an objection? Number 1, at the very beginning, you need to build value. Okay? How do you build value? If you're selling a car, make sure, first of all, you talk about your company. What are the benefits of the customer buying from your company? Okay? Build value. Have you done a tour of the building? Have you showed them the service department? Have you introduced them to your managers? When I was a sales guy, I would make sure every single customer met my manager. Okay? Because that increased the value of the dealership. That made the client feel special. Now, second thing is, have you done a killer walk around on the car? Have you done Have you taken the customer and showed them all the features? Have you had have them sit inside, turned on the heated seats, showed them the ventilated seats, showed them how the adaptive cruise control works? Have you shown them all the features on the steering wheel? Have you shown them the heads-up display? Have you sat them in the back? Customers got to feel the car. When they feel the car, they feel more attached to the car. Most salespeople, they do the shittiest walk around that you've ever seen. Some salespeople, they don't even bother to do a walk around. And if you keep doing those things, you're going to get the exact results that all those other salespeople are getting. Do a killer walk around. Again, what are you doing now? You're increasing value. When you're on the test drive, are you explaining all the features to the client? Are you getting them excited? Are you asking the right questions? And now when you've come back, by the time you've talked to that client, number one, you know exactly what the concerns were at the beginning. See, if you did a good meet and greet, and if you did a good investigation, you know exactly what the customer's concerns are. Have you pinpointed those concerns? Because those concerns, what they've told you at the very beginning, they will creep up at the end. But what are you going to do? You're going to overcome those concerns at the very beginning. You're going to talk about those features that the customer wants. If their main concern is safety, you're going to talk about that over and over again. And let me tell you, if you build enough value, if you do a walk around of your car, you do a walk around of the dealership, you explain the benefits of them buying from the dealership and buying from you. If you introduce your managers, you build so much value now, the customer is going to think it's a steal, the deal that they're getting. Objections will come when customers feel like there's not enough value. But at the end of the day, guys, so I'm going to go over common objections that you come across. If you know these are going to come across to you, you're going to learn how to overcome them. You're going to learn the word tracks. And those I'm going to go through one by one in my next videos. But in this video, I'm just going to give you an idea of what the 4 common most objections are. And if you know that you're going to get hit with these every single day, would you not learn how to overcome them? Of course you would. So let's get to it. The 4 most common objections that you're going to come across. The first one is, I need to think about it. Everybody says I need to think about it. Okay? Now, what you got to understand, when a customer says I need to think about it, basically what the customer is saying is that I need to think about it because I don't see enough value. That's why they need to think about it. They don't see enough value to spend their money on the product that you're offering. And that's why they are now saying, I need to think about it. But if they knew it was a really good deal, if you had built enough value, they would never need to think about it. They would just sign on the dotted line. They would just say, you know what? Yeah, I'll sign right here. But that's what the customer is really saying. Or the other thing is, all the customer is saying is that you really haven't gotten down to their main concern. When they're saying I need to think about it, what they're saying is that I'm scared. I don't really know. Unsure is what they are. And you really haven't overcome the main objection. And what you need to do is you need to isolate what the real objection is. When a customer says I need to think about it, I say, hey, you know, Mr. Customer, I completely understand. Of course you need to think about it. I haven't given you enough information not to want to think about it. Now, Mr. Customer, when you say you need to think about it, it's not the car, is it? Do you see what I did right there? First thing I want to make sure is that it's not the car, is it? Because if he says no, bam! It's not the car. He loves the car. He just said the car is not what he needs to think about. Okay? What you've done now, you're isolating the issue. Okay? It's not the car now. Now you can focus. But if the guy says it is the car, you screwed up from the very beginning. The guy was on the wrong car. You had him on the wrong product. He does not see value in it. You need to switch things up. But if he says, if I say, Mr. Customer, it's not the car, is it? And he says, no, it's not the car. I say, okay, perfect. So it's not the car. So Mr. Customer, what you're saying is that it's something within the deal. Now, when you're saying I need to think about it, what is it exactly that you need to think about? Is it the price? Or is it the payment? Or is it the trade? What is the most concerning to you? And the guy says, you know, most concerning to me, it's the payment. Okay, perfect, Mr. Customer. So what you're saying is that you love the car, but the payment is concerning to you. Now, Mr. Customer, let me ask you a question. If we could get you to a payment which you're okay with, is there anything else stopping you from doing business today? And the guy says no. That's how you overcome that objection. You isolate it, and then you get down to the payment. And now you found out it's a payment, and now you work the customer on the payment. Okay? Which I'm gonna go way more in depth into, but this is just me just giving you a little bit of an idea how to even start the process of overcoming. I need to think about it. The second thing is the customer says the price is too high. The price is too high. The price is too high. Of course he's gonna say the price is too high. Because again, if you had built enough value, he wouldn't think the price is too high. Okay? Why do people pay thousands of dollars for an iPhone and not pay $100 for a Samsung? Why do they do that? Do people ask for a discount? No, they don't. Because you know why? They see value. But what you haven't done, you have this objection now because you have not seen value. They haven't seen value in what you're saying. The third thing is, I need to look around. Obviously, customers, they want to shop around. Number one reason why customers want to shop around is they want to shop around your price. Okay? And again, I'm not going to keep sounding like a broken record here, but it's because at the beginning, you didn't do the right steps. You didn't build enough value. And the fourth thing is I need to speak with my wife. This is another cop-out because they just want to get out of that dealership because they don't trust you, or they don't like you, or they didn't see enough value. If a customer trusts you and they like you and they saw value, they wouldn't need to speak to their wife. Because when you're looking at buying something that's very expensive, most of the time you do have some type of conversation with your spouse about it. Most of the time you can just call your wife. Most of the time. But most of the time people, why they will say this, because they just want to get the hell out of there. They don't trust you, they don't like you, and you did not build enough value. Guys, these 4 objections here, I just gave you a little taste. In my next videos to come, I'm going to show you exactly word for word, verbatim, how to overcome all of these objections. And if you saw some value, guys, I am here for you. Make sure you text me at 778-928-0430. Ask me any question that you have, because I got your back for life. In this video, we're going to go over the 5 habits of every great car salesman. Okay, why should you listen to somebody like me? Because I was just like you. I started out at the bottom of the barrel. I started off as a salesperson. I got involved in this industry because I really had no choice. I had just lost my business at that time. And this is the one industry where I knew where you can make a great income because my friend was already working in it. I started off as a salesperson, worked my way up to internet manager, then subprime manager, business manager, then I went to sales manager, then I became a general sales manager, and then I went to become a general manager running a luxury dealership, making a great income, completely changed my life, completely changed my family tree, and it was able to give me the life that I always wanted and I desired. So that's why you should listen to somebody like me, because I've been there and I've done that and I've lived in your shoes. If you are somebody who's starting off in car sales and looking to make a $10,000 income a month, $100,000 income a year, or even more, then you should definitely listen to somebody like me. Or if you're a veteran who's been in this industry for a really, really long time, but you're just looking for that spark. You're looking for a change and you're not happy with where you're at right now. But these habits that I'm going to talk to you about today, this is what every great salesperson has. Not only in the automotive industry, but any salesperson out there at all. So let's get started. Number 1 is tracking. Okay? When you're going to get started in this industry, you want to be tracking everything. And the first thing that you want to track is your goals. Guys, I can't even tell you how many people start in this industry and they think they know it all after a couple of months, and they don't even know what their goal is for that month. At the end of the day, you make a paycheck when you sell a car. You don't make a paycheck just when you go into work. So what is your goal for that month? Just start off with that. If you start off with that, you're ahead of 80% of the people out there in your industry. What is your goal for the month? And make it realistic. Is it 10 cars? Is it 12 cars? Is it 15 cars? At least have something that's in front of your face every single day when you go to work. The other thing is calls. Are you tracking the daily calls that you're making every single day? How many calls are you going to make every single day? Are you going to make 15? Are you going to make 20? Are you going to make 50? When I used to be a salesman, I used to make 50 calls every single day. That was the baseline for me. And if I went home and I didn't sell a car, but I made 50 calls, you know what? I knew I did my job, because the fruits of my labor, they might not have showed up that day, but I knew they would be there the next or on the weekend. So how many calls are you going to make per day? And I'm going to show you who to call. Some of you might be wondering, well, you know what? I don't have anybody to call. Who do I call? I don't know what to say when I call. In my next videos, I'm going to be going over those things so you know exactly what to say, who to call, when to call, and how to get that customer in. Okay, posts. What do I mean by posts? Facebook posts. This is one of the things that I made sure I did every single day. And so many salespeople out there, they're so freaking lazy, they don't even want to make Facebook Marketplace posts. Nowadays, everybody's on Marketplace. And if you're not on Marketplace, you're losing. You're losing business, you're losing clients, and you're losing for your family. Because at the end of the day, somebody else out there is doing this and you're not, and the clients are going to them. Most of the time nowadays, everybody shops on Marketplace for anything that it is that they want. Basically here, you're able to advertise your inventory for free. No charge at all. You have all this inventory that somebody's given you, and you're able to market it out there for absolutely free, guys. If you're not losing this, I don't know what the hell it is that you're thinking. But if you're listening to this video, I know you're going to implement these things, and I know you're going to be freaking successful. So make sure you do these things. This is all becomes a part of tracking. Very important. And these are called daily monitoring activities. What are your daily monitoring activities? What are they going to be? Are you going to track your calls? Are you going to track your posts? Or you can even branch this off, which I'm going to go into later on in this video. But daily monitoring activities. Second one, follow up. This is one of the habits of a great salesman, is that they follow up. And you know what they say in every industry? You follow up until they buy or they die. Okay? Not literally, obviously, but follow up with all of your customers. Email, text, call them. You know what? Or you could go one step ahead. You could be ahead of your competition. Send them a video. Send them a reminder of who you are. Guys, you think you're going to close everybody the first day that they walk in? Yes, of course, that's a mentality that you have. But let me give you a wake-up call. You're not going to close everybody the day that they walk in. But you know what the statistics are? 75% of people, they will buy. If they don't buy in the first day, they will buy within a week. 75% of people. And guess who they're going to buy from? They're going to buy from you because you're going to follow up with them. You're going to send them a video. And it's going to go something like this. Hey, Darren, I thought I sent you a video. I didn't want you to forget my beautiful face. And here's the car that you were looking at. Hey, if you have any questions at all, you know I'm your guy. Feel free to reach out to me at any time at all. Take care. Have a blessed day. That's exactly how you're going to make that video. And you're going to be so different than all the other jokers out there. Because I'm telling you right now, 99% of people in this industry, they're lazy because customers walk into them and they're okay with just selling 10, 12 cars. But now you're in this industry to change your freaking life. And if you do these things just a little bit different, that little difference is going to lead to huge results, guys. Make sure you follow up with your clients and don't feel like you're being a little bit salesy. People want to be followed up with. Following up with people shows that you care about customer service. So make sure you do that. Next thing, service drive. Okay? Every good salesman attacks their service drive. What do I mean by service drive? If you're new in this industry, service drive is those customers that come in every single day to get their car serviced. Okay? These people are a great source of income. They're a great source of referrals. Let me explain this to you better. So people who are coming to get their car serviced, they already know you. They already like you. Not specifically you, but your dealership. They're already spending money with you. They're getting the repairs done. They trust you. Why not talk to these people when they come in and try to give them a proposal? This is a huge bonus for any of you who can take advantage of this, guys. Every single day before I used to go into work, let's say today was a Thursday and tomorrow was Friday, I would call every single customer that was coming to get their car serviced on Friday. I would call all of them, try to book appointments with them. These customers are going to be there anyways. They're going to be spending a couple hours in your dealership anyways. Why not get a free proposal? Why not get their car appraised? Why not see what their options might be? Some of these guys might have huge bills coming up, $2,000, $3,000 that they don't want to spend. You know what? They're thinking about trading their car in, but nobody's calling them. Nobody's talking to them. But not you. You're going to call all of these clients every single day. And this will generate you at least 10 to 12 deals every single month if you call these clients. And guess what? These deals are usually the easiest deals because, like I said, They're already spending money at your dealership. They already like you. They already trust you. They already know you. You don't have to go through all of those things at the beginning. Next, expiring lease customers. And again, guys, don't remember these two things here. In my next videos that are going to be upcoming, I'm going to show you what to say to these customers so you can book freaking appointments like a beast. Okay? Expiring lease customers. Again, lease customers usually lease their vehicles, sometimes for tax write-offs, but most of the time because they love driving a new car every 3 to 4 years. So what I would do is go to my manager, ask him for a list of the customers who are going to be coming, leases that are going to be expiring in the next couple of months, and call these customers. You don't think you have enough time? You don't think you have enough things to do in your day, guys? You can fill up your calendar if you actually do the right activities. I'm also going to be going in my next video how to structure your day. Elite salesperson's day should look like. Okay? Expiring lease customers. This will get you a ton of customers, a ton of good trade-ins, easy deals. Customers are, again, just like your service drive, they already know you, like you, and they already trust you. Okay? Next, habit of every great car salesman is that they're all over Facebook Marketplace. They're all over it. They post all of their inventory. As soon as they see a trade, they post that trade right away. Man, if you start doing these things, trade comes in, you're going to post it, you're going to sell that baby before it even gets through the shop, and everybody's going to be thinking, what the hell is going on? How is this guy selling these cars before we even know about them? That's going to be you. Your managers are going to be like, what the heck is this guy on? So what I used to do, whenever I saw a nice trade come in, man, I would be the first guy out there taking photos of it, asking my manager for the price of it, posting it online right away, and everybody else who worked at the dealership with me, those jabronis, they didn't know what the hell even hit them. Okay? But this is going to be you. You got to keep an eye out. If you see a nice trade, you got to post that car right away online. Get a price from your manager. Make sure you have all of these cars all online. I had all of the inventory. But those nice cars that used to come in, they generally the ones that sell right away, I would have them online before the dealership even had them online. You utilize these habits and you're starting in this industry, whether you're brand new or whether you've been in this industry for 10 years. Maybe it's time to review your process a little bit and see what are your habits when you go into work. What is it that you're exactly doing every single day? What are your daily non-negotiable? Get into it. What are some of the common mistakes that new salespeople make? And guys, if you avoid these mistakes at the very beginning, I promise you, you can have a beautiful and this business can completely change your life. You can make a 6-figure income per year without any degree, but with a lot of hustle and hard work. So what are some of the mistakes that new salespeople make? Let's start off with number 1, being a part of the club. See, when you start off in car sales and you're brand new, there's going to be a lot of dream stealers out there. A lot of people that have been in the business a long time and been doing the things the exact same way. I remember when I first started off in car sales and I was new. I didn't know that many people. And I remember seeing these guys, they would always huddle with each other. They like to smoke a lot, especially when I first started out. These guys used to love smoking a lot. They'd be standing outside at the front door. And I would always look at them and I would wonder what it is that they're doing. But you always have this thing inside of you. You always want to feel accepted. You always want to feel a part of the club. And I wanted to be a part of the club. I wanted to be accepted. Because when I went into car sales, I didn't know anybody. Nobody really even made me feel welcome. So I wanted to be a part of the club. But this is the club that you don't want to be a part of. This is not a club where you want to enter. This is a club that you want to avoid like the freaking plague, man. These guys are dream stealers because most of the people that are part of the club, they've been doing this business for a long time and they haven't grown themselves. They haven't worked on themselves. There's this one quote that Jim Rohn always says, work harder on yourself than you do on your job and you will be successful. But you know what these people have done? They've just bitched and complained why they're not closing deals, why the dealership sucks. It's a client's mistake. It's your boss's mistake. It's because they don't have the most inventory. These people will steal your dreams before you even begin. So I'm telling you right now, these are the people that you want to avoid. If you sell your first car, they're going to say it's because you got lucky. If you make a big fat check, they're going to say that the person that bought the car off of you, they were a laydown. that anybody can sold them a car. Okay? So no matter what good that you do, these people will always try to bring you down. This is not a club that you want to be a part of. Look, at the end of the day, you started in this business. Why did you start in this business? You're starting in this business not to make friends, but to make money. Listen, should you have a good relationship with all of your colleagues? Of course, you don't want to have a toxic relationship, but are your colleagues going to change your life? Is talking to them and bullshitting with them, spending time by the coffee machine, shooting the shit, is that really going to change your life? You know, your family's at home and you've told them that you're working really hard, but at the end of the day, you're at the dealership just fucking wasting time. That is not a club that you want to be a part of. So if you're brand new, do not be a part of this club. This is not one that you want to join. I hope you got my point. The next one is discount. What new people do is they move forward to discounting. See, what you need to master is how to overcome objections. What you need to master is to build value in your product. Guys, there's this one thing that I learned at the very beginning, okay? If you spend more time with the client at the very beginning, you'll spend a lot less time at the end, Most people that have been in this business for a long time, what they do is they do something like this. Okay? This is how much time they spend getting to know the customer. Getting to know why they need the car. Okay? Getting to know why they came to the dealership. Getting to build rapport with them. Getting to know where they live, what their hobbies are, how many kids they have, are they married, are they divorced? And you know what they do? They end up, this is called the discount zone. Okay? No wonder they have to discount. Because, you know what this shows me? If you're not spending that much time with your client, you know what that shows? First of all, the client. And you know what that shows me? That shows me that you really don't even give a shit about the client. And if you don't care about the client, you don't deserve the sale. But great salespeople, this is what they do. They spend all their time getting to know the client. They spend all their time building rapport with the client. They spend all their time trying to make a friend. And then guess what happens at the end? Now all of a sudden, you got a full pop deal. No discounts, no nothing. The customer, you built so much freaking value at the beginning. The customer feels stupid asking you for a discount. You get what I'm saying here? If you're brand new, guys, it doesn't take that much magic just to be a human being and just to act like a real person. Get to know your clients. Spend a little bit of time with them. Do your guest sheet properly. Ask the good questions. Ask the good qualifying questions. And for that, you do not need a lot of training to be a human being. Okay? But at the end of the day, this is what you don't want to be doing. And most of the people that are doing this, they're part of this. Been there for a long time, not willing to change, not willing to upgrade their software. They upgrade their phones, they upgrade their cars, they upgrade their houses, but they don't upgrade this. They work harder on their job than they do on themselves. But that's not going to be you. You're not going to make that mistake because you're watching this video right now, and you will be successful and you will make a great income and change your life if you avoid these mistakes. Next, always remember this. You don't miss sales by a few dollars. You miss sales by a few words. So what do I mean by that? The first thing that you should be doing is learning the words of this business. What are some of the most common objections that you're going to get? Number one, your price is too high. But you're not going to make that mistake. You're going to learn how to overcome this objection. And I'm actually going to go over this in the rest of my videos here. But that's the number one objection that you're going to get. The other objection that you're going to get is I want to think about it. How do you overcome this objection? Most people usually say, what do you want to think about? That is the worst way to overcome that objection. Okay? Remember this. You don't miss sales by a few dollars. Meaning this. Anybody can drop their pants. Anybody can discount a car. But it takes somebody who's trained. It takes somebody who's worked on themselves to sell a car at full price and make a good commission. Make the company money. And that's because they spent the time to learn the right words. What words to use and what words not to use. Okay? Next one. Prejudge. This is my biggest pet peeve, and you will run into this as well. As soon as clients come in, guess what? You've been in this business for 5 days. You already know who's a buyer and who's not just by looking at them. Are you freaking kidding me? You're trying to prejudge somebody just by looking at them. I'm telling you right now, don't make that mistake by prejudging your clients. You treat everybody freaking the same. It doesn't matter what they're wearing. It doesn't matter what they drive in. It doesn't matter what they look like. You treat everybody the same. You give everybody a great presentation. You give everybody a great guest sheet, getting to know your client. You build rapport with every single one. Every single person that walks through that door, you build rapport with them. And every single person, you don't prejudge. If you start prejudging your clients, that is the fastest way to be out of the business. That is the fastest way to lose sales. Because that client might not buy today, but majority of clients that walk through that door, they will buy within 7 days. And you know what? If you do everything that everybody else is doing down the street from you, if you treat your clients the same way everybody else out there is treating them, they're going to treat you the exact same way. But if you're that person that takes your time, builds a killer walk around, builds value, gets to know him, makes a freaking friend, who do you think that guy's going to buy off of? He's going to remember who you were. But to all those other jokers out there that just focused on price, that just dropped their pants, focused on discount, that didn't spend much time with the client, that went straight to here, he's going to remember you because you took the time to get to know him. You took the time to sit down and qualify him. You took the time to build value in the product that you're selling. Tell him about your dealership. Tell him about the car that you're selling. Tell him about the history of the brand that he's going to be buying in the future for him and his family. Never prejudge a client, guys. That is the quickest way for you not to make a commission. I cannot even tell you how many times I've actually thought, and we all make this mistake, that customers weren't going to buy just by the way that they look or what they drove in. But those are the guys usually that have the money to buy because they're not up to their ears in loans. Okay? And the fifth mistake that every salesperson makes is thinking it's going to be easy. Look, I'm going to end it off with this. Is that this journey that you're about to begin on, if you're a new car salesman or whether you're listening to this video and you've been in the industry for 20 years, it's not going to be easy. Okay? Making $100,000 income or 2 or 3 or 4, it's not going to be easy. It's going to require you to work on yourself. Okay? It's going to require for you to learn the words of the business, how to overcome objections. It's going to require you to become a great salesperson. What does it mean to become a great salesperson? You know how to communicate. You know how to read body language. You know the common objections that the customer is going to come up with. You know what it means to give great customer service. And you know your product inside and out. That's what it's going to require. It's going to require you working very, very hard. Okay? It's going to require you to manage your time properly. Okay? Because most people, they go to work, but they don't actually go to work when they get there. They spend time with the club, they spend time bullshitting, and they spend time lying to themselves. Don't be that person. This business can completely change your life if you avoid all of these mistakes and if you're willing to work on yourself harder than you do on your job. Stay tuned for the rest of my video, guys. Make sure you subscribe and like this channel. Take care. I'll catch you later.